morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this session. For those of you who don't know, my name is Tumelambita. I'm the marketing coordinator at Inspired Recruitment Solutions. In today's episode of the Inspired webinar series, we're joined by the incredible Deborah Mubenga, our Chief Operations Manager and a true force when it comes to operational excellence and people empowerment. Deborah holds a master's in law and graduated cum laude with her LLB, and she's also the head of HR and an active mentor at 243 Pro Network, a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering African professionals through entrepreneurship, mentorship, and meaningful networking. Today, Deborah is here to share practical insights on job search foundations, building a routine that works, helping you stay focused and confident as you navigate your job search. As someone who works personally with Deborah, I'm very excited about this session, and I hope everyone is as well. And we can dive in.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Timmy, for that introduction. I almost thought it was someone else. I don't think I'm used to having introductions because I'm more of a behind the scenes type of person. But to everyone who has joined, thank you so much for coming through and joining us on this second webinar series that we're currently having. I hope that it will be insightful, and if there is something that I'd like to ask from each of you is if we can try and be as interactive as engaging. So please make use of the emojis, please make use of the hand reactions, please drop comments and questions as well. And I think the idea for this pretty much is to have a balanced routine that works pretty much for each and every one of us. So there are a few guidelines that I'll be sharing through based on what it is that I have found that has worked for me. But the idea is pretty much for you to take some nuggets that you can then use into your own routine as well. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just dive into it. And then also just another shout out to the marketing team for putting me on here. Like I said earlier, I am more of the behind the scenes type of person, but we are here, and I'm actually grateful for the platform to share a bit of my 2 cents, and hopefully it helps someone. So welcome to each and every one of you, and thank you for joining. As Timmy had said, this is designing a balanced routine no matter the role. Just hope that everyone can hear me and everyone can see my screen. I'm currently sharing. Can I just get a hand indication? Let's warm your hands up just to make sure that we can hear me and see the presentation before we get right into it. All good. Okay, all right. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ingrid. Okay, so as I was mentioning before, so balancing multiple roles, whether you're a job seeker, student, employee, or a leader, or even a stay-at-home CEO, calls for a routine that's just as versatile, right? So the idea behind this is that we all know that we don't just wear one hat, right? If you're a student, sometimes you're a student and you're working. Sometimes you're a student and you're looking for a job, or you are working and you're a mom, you're a dad, you are a partner. So there's different roles that you pretty much play as well, and you're not just, let's say, for instance, that primary title. So the idea also behind this webinar is to help us navigate these many hats that we pretty much have to wear as well. So the session is just not about cramming everything into your day. It's about living out what matters the most, right? So it's not about just fitting everything in. We are not here to chase perfection. We are here to find a rhythm, a routine that lets all of our roles thrive without losing who we are in the process. And just to pretty much start things off, I just like to find out a bit more about the audience that we have currently and what's the roles that you guys are currently playing. So if you can just drop an emoji with the role, with an emoji that best describes the role that you're currently playing. So whether it be you being a mom, a student, an employee, a manager, whatever it is that your role is, please put down your hat and in so that I more or less have an understanding of the audience that we have and how to navigate it as well. So whichever one is your title, please feel free to drop in your emoji as well. And yeah, if you're also just the jack of all trades that just carries all the hats, you're more than welcome to put that down as well. So we can see who the jack of all trades are. So if you're a mom, you're a dad, you're a brother, a sister, a student, a working student. Because I say superheroes live between the parents who are studying and working. You guys deserve like your own adventure series because that is superhero level on 100. So yeah, just let's see more or less the type of hats that you navigate on my side. So I think pretty much as Tumi had put in her introduction. So it's manager on one side, it's daughter on another side, it's friend on the other side as well. And then it's me, the foodie as well. So if you know me personally, I am a foodie, so I like to try new food here and there. And that's also something that I also try to add into my routine. And then also while I'm mentoring as well, busy with the 243 network, heading up the HR side that way. But I think it's all in how it is that we bring them all together. So yeah, no, thank you for all of those dropping in the comments. I can see we've got quite a number of students and employees. Woo, Stephanie is in the lead so far with 3 hats. Shout outs to you, Stephanie. Any contenders for Stephanie? So Stephanie seems to be the one in the lead currently, and then Kitty with her 2 hats. Tata, I'm not sure what the clown is for, class clown, maybe. But yeah, and then Basutana, just a girl. I feel like maybe you see that hand that does there's a girl that does that hand thing. So I think that would be the perfect emoji for that. But Mukiti, thank you. Charity, thank you. Pamela as well. Thank you for interacting. Yep, the one that to me put in Basutana, that one's for you. Just the girl doing her best. No, thank you so much for the active participation. And moving along with that, this is pretty much how do we start off creating a routine. So I always say the morning pretty much sets the tone for your day. So how you start your morning will always determine how it is that your day will go as well. So when you start your day in alignment, it pretty much sets the tone for the everyday stuff that's going to happen. So some of the ways that you could build good habits is pretty much have non-negotiables to start, right? So non-negotiables for a power start, this is pretty much what you do every morning without fail, without having to be remembered. And it has to be tailored to your flexibility and what it is that you are able to do, right? If you don't have a morning routine now, we're not saying wake up at 5 a.m., start jogging, then come back, do yoga, and then get into journaling and then pray. No, let's take it one step at a time. If waking up and making your bed as part of your morning routine, let it be. Next step is taking a shower. If those are things that get you started, then that's what you need to do. But at least have something consistent that you do at the start of your day. And number one is always waking up at a consistent time. I know for me from Monday to Friday, because I pretty much have work. So I know that, okay, I need to wake up at 5:30. And for me, waking up at 5:30 is the time in which that I do my devotion. So for me, my non-negotiable is starting my day off with devotion. You know, before my inbox speaks, God speaks first, because I feel like if I don't get his input into my day will just be chaotic altogether. So I always ensure that I wake up and I start with my devotion. letting down my plan before my creator and having him navigate that. It's up to you to pretty much find out what is the one thing that pretty much works for you. But going back to the consistent time, if you're going to wake up at 9 o'clock, let at 9 o'clock be the time that you wake up. If it's 10 o'clock, let it be 10 o'clock. Like I said, if you're not used to waking up at 5 a.m. or at 6 a.m., don't let that be the way it is that you start your routine. If it's 9 o'clock, then be consistent in waking up at 9 o'clock. Make sure that it's a morning that pretty much works for you. And then, like we said, now spend 10 to 15 minutes with whatever it is, but apart from your phone. So put your phone far away. Someone was actually been saying that you should, if you use your phone for your alarm clock, you should actually put it in the bathroom so that when it rings, you actually going into the bathroom. So thereafter, you'll go straight into the shower. Well, that's for those where alarm clocks actually wake you up, because for some people, it wakes everyone else up in the house apart from the person itself. I can speak to that with my brother. My brother's room is literally down the hallway from everyone else's, but before he wakes up, everyone else would have woken up because of his alarm clock. So just make sure that the alarm clock that you're also setting is also effective for you primarily and not just for everyone else in the house as well. So really how you start your day will definitely set the tone for the rest of it. And then once you've gone into whatever your meaningful day is, then start off with your type priorities. So if you pretty much are a student, what is it that you set out to do? Do you have an assignment coming up? Is there a test that you need to study for? Is there a group assignment that you're currently working on? So set intentional goals, right? I think intention always follows action. So if you're intentional about what it is that you want to do, the action will follow thereafter. But you have to be intentional. Like I said, work within where it is that you're at. Don't be intentional and say, okay, today I want to go jogging, I want to go yoga, I want to go visit a friend, then I'm going to read 3 books. If you've never went past the page before. So start slow, start at your pace that you're comfortable with, and then build up from there. But always have an intention pretty much for the day. What do I want to accomplish? This is also the time where you can have a to-do list as well within your many roles. So if, for instance, we've got, we mentioned the students, so it's about track, okay, for today, it's a Monday. Do I have an exam to prep for? Do I have an assignment to prep for? What do I need to do in that time for it? Or if it was like Stephanie who had put down, Chef, what are the meal preps that I can do in order for me to not take, I'm going to be working from 8 to 4 by the time I get home, it's pretty much 5. How much of that time can I listen in actually doing the food where I can meal prep the food, and when I come back, it's just a matter of popping it into the oven or the air fryer. I think, yeah, for me, air fryer is the new hack in life. If you haven't got an air fryer, please do yourselves a favor. It is truly life-changing, and it definitely saves you time as well. So pretty much within your different roles that you're playing, set intentional goals of what it is that you do, but also please be realistic about what it is that you do as well. So set one intentional goal. And like I mentioned, for me, faith isn't just the way I start my day, it's the strategy behind how I lead, serve, and grow. So all my roles and everything that I do pretty much works around how it is that I start, and it definitely starts off in prayer. And thereafter, once you've got your morning routine set and done, the next thing is now to have a priority block. So based off the intentions that you really had set out, this is where you zone in into that moment. So no multitasking and no distraction. So they actually say multitasking is a myth. So what it is that you're doing when you're multitasking is you're taking the energy or the productivity away from doing multiple things all at once. And that's why we say let us set intentions, because if you're doing one thing at a time, you're giving that one thing 100%. Say, for instance, if you work from home, right? When you work from home, have specific time where you know, okay, this is my time to set to send emails, or this is my time to review candidate CVs. This is my time to speak to clients. This is my time to prepare for a presentation, or this is my time to make study notes, and let not anything else interfere with that. So don't be working at the same time you are cooking, and in the same time you are doing so many other things, because that definitely takes the focus from the task of what it is that you are doing. So rather give your 100% to that one thing for an hour. Once that is done, move over to the next thing. That way you are more effective and productive with each and every task. Because also the thing with multitasking is you don't actually even finish everything that you do at once. Some things get left behind. It's either you're now more concentrating on the email because you're responding to an email and a lot of other urgencies came that you forgot that the pot was on the stove. Next thing, the meal is burnt. Now you've got a whole other problem to pretty much deal with as well. At the same time, the babysitter has canceled. Now you're looking after the kids. So all of these can cause interruptions into the day as well. So just make sure that you are intentional about your task, and also setting time apart for each task, but taking one task at a time. And this is kind of a window that you can pretty much use to help you navigate depending on where it is that you add. So for job seekers, as mentioned, this is really the time where you can tailor your resume to network, put out applications. For students, this is when you can deep study, attend lectures, do some research. And then for employees or leaders, this is the time to do reports, strategic plannings, or critical meetings. And also YouTube tutorials, because I found that, you know what, YouTube, you can pretty much learn to do anything on YouTube. I think apart from being a surgeon, right? I think that's the only one that you can't learn on YouTube, because imagine the credibility of that. You are in for an operation and they tell you that, no, your surgeon actually did not complete a medical degree. They have they learned how to perform your surgery through YouTube or watching The Good Doctor. You're not going to be as confident in, you know, that procedure, or letting them even put the scalpel down you one bit. So but I think apart from that, everything else can pretty much be taught on YouTube, whether it's research for your course, for what it is that you're doing at work. Even with AI, there is so many AI tools out there that can help you to be more effective in whatever your role is. But be intentional about not multitasking and setting specific tasks for the stuff that you have been intentional about doing. And then once that is pretty much done, I'm not sure someone's mic is unmute. Just mute your mic, please. Just mute our mic, please. All right, so the next point is pretty much head switch hours. So this is now the time where, you know, you can navigate across the different hats and the different roles that you are pretty much doing. So this is like you're on your own Netflix miniseries, but you are the star. So you can move from strategic planner to student of light. So rotate between your primary roles and everything else in between as well. So instead of chaotic multitasking, theme your time. Like I was mentioning earlier, now once you are intentional about your primary goals, now this is now where the secondary goals roles pretty much come in. So if you are a full-time worker, then your secondary will probably be a parent or a spouse or a sister, brother. This is now the time where you can now accommodate all these other secondary stuff that you have available. So as a student, you can then work on your assignments if you're not attending classes as well. And then also as leaders, this is really the time that you can pour into your team and delegate tasks as well. I think I've learned as a leader just not to be too focused on what it is that you're doing, but also finding the time to pour into those that are around you and empower them to also grow and to develop within themselves as well. Because your day could get very chaotic that if you just zone into what it is that you have set for that day, that pretty much can take the whole day up, and you won't even have enough time to pretty much interact with the people that you are leaving as well. So it's pretty much just switching in between everything else. So for me, it could be in the morning, just checking in pretty much with the team, seeing how everyone else is doing, what tasks may they need assistance with, or it's for me also now to review based on what it is that I have on my desk. How much of this stuff can I actually delegate to some of my team members as well? In the same way, empowering them and giving them the opportunity to further develop themselves as well. So this is really the time where it's you to pretty much stretch yourself a bit, if we can call it that way. And then the next part is pretty much one of my favorites, right? So this is the midday reset, and refuel. So this was definitely a note for me, that because I think sometimes my day gets away with me, that I don't really have time to pretty much have time to actually take a break. So I even needed to remind myself, you know what, Deborah, if Jesus could take a nap, so could you as well. So I think that was the motivation behind me being intentional about actually taking a break, right? I think you would also note that, let's say, for instance, your phone isn't working or your laptop isn't working. The first thing that you do is what you restart, reprogram, and then usually when you come back, it really comes back to pretty much that. And that's the same thing with us humans. We can't be running our day 6 hours on end, 5 to 6 hours on end, without actually taking that time out to pretty much unplug and to reset and recharge. So this is really the moment to step away, stretch, refuel. Don't let your break become another thing to do. That was my thing as well. I used to think, yo, now how many times as I sit and take just to take a walk or to go eat food or something, but you find that, you know what, these actually refuel you, so that you come back even more energized and more productive in what it is that you need to do in the second half of your day. So I just want to know more or less from some of you guys, what are some of the midday resets that you guys do? What do you do to unplug and recharge before getting back into it? So yes, enjoy your food, because joy is productive and food brings you joy. Like I was saying, I am such a foodie, so food definitely brings me joy. I always say that food is my love language. You can keep the physical touch and words of affirmation, just give me food and we are good to go. So it really is, and it's something that I've also been intentional, because I think I really take my foodie hat very seriously on the weekends, because that's usually the time that I have to go out, try new places, new restaurants, meet up with friends, that sometimes at work I might not have the time to actually eat lunch. I think some of the team even always ask me, Deborah, when do you eat? And half of the time I do eat, just that do not announce when I go and eat. And now I've been very intentional to being public as to where it is that I go and eat, so they can see that actually I do eat as well. So other for some of you, it might be taking a walk or praying, listening to music. I think definitely that's also another one for me. If you've worked with me, you will know that music is constantly a thing that I am doing. So for me, that is also something that helps me keep refueled and re-energized as well. So whatever it is that helps you to refuel, please ensure to add that into your schedule. So whether it be going for a walk, taking a run, taking a breather, as well, counting your steps, that's pretty much another thing, but do something that takes you away. And I also recently discovered that LinkedIn has games as well. So that could be something that either as a student or as an employee that you could get into as well. The good thing about the games is they are pretty much timed as well. So you're not going to find yourself playing games on LinkedIn for 6 hours. Like each and every game has a specific time. So once you lapse that time or you've completed that task, then it's over. You need to come back the next day. So it's not to say that you will be stuck at work and HR is going to walk past you one day and find out why is it that you're playing, and you'll be like, no, it was Deborah that told me in the webinar. So yeah, you can take that on. Any other game, I'm not too sure about that. Maybe move that for your wind down hour, but I think here is really just the quick moments for you to recharge and reset before getting back to what it is that you need to be doing. So give your brain a soft landing before the next climb. And then the next thing is now flex block. So this is where structure meets surrender. So a lot of people like to say that people who plan are very rigid, right? There's no room for flexibility and adaptability, but this is specifically for that time, right? So I've come to realize that you can only plan for so many things, and other things you definitely can't plan for. So this is the hour for you to really surrender, because no matter how strategic we are, life has its curveballs. So instead of fighting it, flex with it. Sometimes that means moving things around or finding certain things that work best for you in that time. So this is where you pretty much have to give yourself the opportunity to fail and to learn, to make mistakes, and to have certain things not go as planned. For me, this is very important because I know even though I can set my plan for the day, there's always bound to be something unexpected that pretty much happen, either with the team or other colleagues or clients. There's always bound to be something. But I figured that if I already put it into the schedule, when it happens, I'm not completely caught off guard, right? Because I think that's also a lot of the things that happens to us when it's something that we do not anticipate happening. When it does happen, it can throw us off our game and then affecting our productivity. But if you know that, you know what, something can definitely go wrong here, what can I do when it does happen? If you schedule it in, you're already preempting your mind that there is that possibility. And I always say that if you can imagine it, it is possible. It is impossible to imagine the impossible, no matter how ridiculous it is that it might be. But I always say rather forewarned. Is it forearmed and forewarned, or forewarned and forearmed? Yeah, that's one as well. So prevention is always better than cure. So if I can preempt something, I'd rather be able to plan for it, or at least give that, allow for that time or that room, because like we said, life has curveballs. It's like COVID. I don't think there's anyone that could have planned for COVID till it pretty much happened. So we are not responsible for half of the majority of the stuff that happens to us in life. Yes, given granted that sometimes the things that do happen is based off our decisions as well and our choices, but there are certain things that happen within our lives that is outside of our control. But those things, how it is that we respond to that or that we react, is definitely within our control, right? And anything within our control, that means that we've got an influence and an influence in it as well. So you might not be able to change the outcome or the scenario, but you can change your attitude or the way that you respond to it. Same thing going back to COVID. I don't think when COVID started, it was anything that anyone could have done, but it was just for us to pretty much see, okay, now that we have this problem, how do we navigate amongst our different roles, our different functions? How do we ensure that we still get things done that we need to get done, irrespective of what it is that's happening? So having this in your day really helps you to not be thrown completely off, because that could put you off balance and also hinder your productivity. So this is, like I was mentioning, it's for unexpected tasks. So anything that happens to land on your desk that you might not have planned for, at least block out the time knowing that these things can happen. Or if things don't happen in that time as yet, hope, use it then for self-development. You can do online courses, podcasts, mentorship check-ins, like whatever it is that you can do in order to self-develop yourself as well. Or you can also use it as a moment to journal and to reflect. Think about your wins, what you have accomplished thus far, what has worked, what hasn't worked, any of your struggles, any insights. Also, I think different perspectives also help, right? Sometimes it's a matter of phoning a friend to get a different perspective, asking a manager, asking a colleague on base of what it is that you're doing, just to gain more perspective into where it is that you are at. All right. So sometimes your best productivity moment doesn't look like hustle, it just looks like wisdom. And that pretty much comes from having these plans and having a routine that you can always fall back on. And then this is also the other favorite part of mine. It's the evening wind down. For those of you guys who work with us here at Inspired, for me, I call this my uninspired hours. So I put in all the hours that I need to here at work, so that by the time I leave here, it's not an inspired hour anymore. So anything that happens needs to happen while I'm in the office, or it has to be pretty much for the next day. Because like I said, I'm also very intentional about the time that I have. So if I'm intentional about setting up, so I ensure that, you know what, by the time that I leave here, I can actually go back home and reset, recharge, and also take up the other hats and roles that I pretty much have. So this is usually my time to go home and to pretty much catch up with my family, have a nice cup of lemon tea, have dinner. I'm usually the last one to have dinner because I'm the last one to get home. But really, it's usually my me time to really get home and to unwind. And usually this is the time where I used to watch my series. I am a big series fan, so this is literally where I start in that time as well. So if you know me, you'll know that I am a diehard Suits fan. I don't know how many times I've rewatched and watched and rewatched Suits, but the medical series have taken quite a one up on it for the time being. So currently I'm watching The Good Doctor. I'm on season 5. So when I get home, that's usually what it is. And funny enough, with me, it's because, like I mentioned, you gotta be intentional about everything that you do. Even with me watching these series, it's not just a pastime, right? For me, it's intentional about what can I learn from this that I can apply to my day to day. Like say, for instance, now that I'm watching The Good Doctor, right? For those of you who don't know the show, so it's pretty much about an autistic doctor who then becomes a surgeon. So he has to now navigate the daily challenges of not just being a good surgeon, but the soft skills that comes from it. So he's learning emotional intelligence, he's learning social cues, social interactions, as well as communication, how to deal with different people, how to be empathetic as well. So I think for someone who is a leader, it's very important to also have these soft skills. So for me, it's almost like I'm learning some of these things as he navigates it, as also sometimes when he's learning about how to problem solve with empathy, this is something that I then learn to then use when I'm working with my team as well. Because I think as a leader, this is something that I've come to learn that's very fundamental. Because if you know me, I'm very analytical, I'm very systematic. I'm all give me data, give me facts, give me information, give me evidence. That's why I want to dissect. Don't tell me about feelings, don't tell me about what's happening in the sky or what, but I've come to learn and to understand that these things are also pretty much important, especially when you are leading a team as well, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, we're dealing with humans and not robots, and yes, you come with emotions, so it's a matter of meeting them pretty much where they are at. So when I engage in such times, it's usually for that. Or sometimes if I know that I've had such a hectic day, I just want to laugh and goof it off, then I'd watch something like The Big Bang Theory or Friends, just to numb my brain quite a bit as well. But I think also within those shows, there's always lessons that I could pretty much draw from that I can apply to my own personal life as well. So this is really your time to end off the day with grace and guilt. This is really not the time to beat yourself up about what didn't work, how you failed at this, the many mistakes that you did, how your manager came out at you, how you were rejected for so many roles, how the interview didn't go as you had planned. This is really just the time for you to reflect and take it all in, almost as your mean time to reward yourself for having gone through that day as well. So find an activity that really just gives you that pick you up, or that thing that will set you off for the evening, that will set up what it is that you need to do the next day, right? So if it's a matter of, oh, I've sent out 50 applications and I was rejected for all 50, that means tomorrow I'm setting out 60 applications, right? You always want to end off your day on a high as opposed to a low as well. Irrespective of what it is that have happened, find out, how can I improve? What can I do better? How can I refine as well? Because how you end of, like, remember how we say that how you start your day pretty much sets the tone for the rest of your day. It's the same thing as well, as how you end it off pretty much just brings it all to your close and sets you up pretty much for the next day. So find habits pretty much that work for you to pretty much reset and to power down as well, because this is really the time for your alignment. So you slow down to unwind and reflect with gratitude as well. Sometimes I think we get so stuck into what went wrong and what we don't have, that we lose sight of actually what went wrong and the stuff that we have. And also when we ponder about our problems, we don't tend to actually even ponder about the problems that we don't actually have, because things could always be a whole lot worse as well. That's, I think, speaking to people, you think you're going through something and you speak to the next person, you're just like, wow, yo, are you really going through that? So it just goes to show that everyone goes through different things at different times as well. But I always say the worst thing that can happen to you is that as long as you're still alive, there is still hope, and there's still something for you to do as well. So the road doesn't end in that day. There's always the hope of tomorrow, and it has to be a mindset and something that you intentionally work towards as well. And then finally, just to close off, pretty much how it is that we structured our routine is the aim for it, like we said, it has to go from busy to purposeful. So it's one thing to be busy and it's one thing to be productive as well. So you could be, I always like to use this analogy. So you could say that you're studying, but you're busy just reading the table of contents. You could be spending 6 hours just reading the table of contents and you feel that, yo, I had such a busy day, but how much of that busyness was actually productive? So if you were spending 6 hours on the table contents, how productive are you? Because chances are you're not going to get tested on the table of contents. You pretty much have wasted 6 hours on something that didn't even mean anything. So with everything that you spend your time on, there has to be a purpose, there has to be an intention behind it. Otherwise, what's pretty much the point behind it as well? So you're not meant to multitask your life. You're meant to live it on purpose, not juggling too many roles at any given time because that's what you currently have in your schedule. It's a matter of, okay, how can I be intentional about what it is that I am doing? And the key is intentional switching and not multitasking chaos. It's about switching roles and not splitting yourself. So your routine isn't about perfection. It's about sustainable progress across your many roles. So you are allowed to recalibrate depending on deadlines and energy levels, right? So if you know that this day I'm not feeling for this, then recharge and reset. Don't overexert yourself. It's like for me, for instance, I'm an introvert. Yes, I am an introvert. I think this is an unpopular belief, but I think the best person to know me is myself. I am an introvert. So I know when I've had a lot of social interactions, let's say, for instance, in a week or over a weekend, then I know that's how I plan my following week needs to be less of social interactions because I need to refuel myself up before I can interact again socially as well. Because if I just keep adding social interactions, I'll keep depleting. And I think people will not get the best of me. And one thing about me is like I always like to show up as my best self, right? So if I am checking in with teammates of let's say for instance, I've got one-on-one with the team, I need to be able to show up the same way for number 5 that I did for number 1. So number 5 can't have a different experience of me that number 1 did as well. Because remember, when you're dealing with people, the impression that they get of you, for them, it's that first impression, irrespective of what it is that you have going on. So you always want to ensure that you are showing up for your best, and you got to know how it is, or what are the things that contribute to you showing up for your best. So I know that, no, if I had a week full of social interactions, then I'm not scheduling a week full of another social interaction, because I will not be able to give off of my full best to whoever I'll be interacting with. I'd rather than use that week to do more meaningful, deep work that just requires me and the action and whatever it means that I do, till I've recharged my batteries again, and then we pretty much go again. So be very mindful of what it is that works for you, how it is that you show up as your best, and what are some of the triggers or stuff that hinders you, and plan pretty much around that as well. So design a routine that doesn't just get things done, but protects what matters as well. So let it flex with your roles, let it hold space for your faith, and let it honor your energy and your season. Because, like I've said, I've learned that success isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters from a place of alignment. So be very intentional about what it is that you do. So this routine that you are building, it's not just a schedule, it's a sanctuary, right? So literally let it honor your capacity and not necessarily your calendar. And the best way to do it is about being intentional about each and everything that you do. And it all starts from how it is that you start your day till how it is that you end it up and plan pretty much for the next day, right? So, yeah, like we said, lastly, design a routine that doesn't just get things done, but protect what it is that matters to you the most. And I believe that brings us the end to our webinar. Thank you so much for indulging me. I don't know if anyone else who's got any questions, anything that you'd like to share, any insight that you have, anything, any other suggestions perhaps that some of you guys may have had that you've used that has worked for you that you'd like to share with the group. So really, this is the time for you guys now to shine. And I think for those that don't know me, this is the contact information. If this is a YouTube channel, you see that like, share, subscribe button. Yeah, this is pretty much that segment. So you're more than welcome to contact us on our landline or go over to our website. So that's www.inspired.jobs, where we pretty much post all our active jobs that we're currently having. So if you are a job seeker, you're more than welcome to go under our active jobs tab on our website to apply for the positions that you would be suitable and interested in as well. And if you'd like to interact more in depth, my email address is there. You're welcome to email me, whether it be for me to help you review your CV or to help you tailor a routine that's suited to you specifically. You're more than welcome to drop down an email. So that's Deborah with an O, right? Just like inspired with an H. So Deborah at inspired.co.za. And you're also welcome to follow me on LinkedIn just to connect and to network. And also, if it's just easier for you to interact by in LinkedIn, so you can just search for Deborah Mubenga in brackets as well. But yeah, no, once again, thank you so much for each and every one of you for joining, taking the time to be part of this session as well. And thank you once again to the team for allowing me the opportunity to showcase my 2 cents of how it is that I keep my structure the way it is as well. So yeah, if there's no other questions, if there's no insight, we can pretty much end it from there. Any says, what an incredible session. Thank you for these insights, seeing how you do it. We'll definitely be applying the tips. Thank you so much. Thank you, Any. You are most welcome. And like I said, guys, it's not by my power nor by might, but it's by the Holy Spirit. So my faith really is the fuel that really gets me going. I always say if it wasn't for it, I don't think I would do half of the things that I really do as well. So I think my faith really is something that keeps me grounded and allows me to do. It goes back to my favorite scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I, as a person, definitely believe there's nothing that I can't do as long as I have Christ. So yeah. So yeah, no, thank you once again. If there's no questions, nothing else from my side, I hope you've been passionately inspired and you found this series very insightful. To me, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you, Deborah, for such an insightful session. And like you said, I hope everyone was passionately inspired. Please note that the session has been recorded. So if you'd like a copy or want to revisit any part of it, please feel free to reach out. And please do keep an eye out on our socials on LinkedIn. We are Inspired Recruitment Solutions for more updates on the next episode and topics and official dates. You won't want to miss it. And thank you so much to everyone again. And I hope you have a great day further.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Come in.
Deborah Santa. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed like the fact that you were giving your own personal examples and just
that was
like
part of
and just the relatability as well.